can feel technical difficulties coming on today, people. How are you? It's Z. Hope you're enjoying. What is today? Tuesday. Today's Tuesday? No shit. It's Tuesday? All day I was thinking it was Wednesday, but today's really Todd Williams in the studio with me today. Welcome to your Tuesday, everybody. You can follow along on All Disruption Network social media platforms, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those social media platforms that are warping your brains and warping my brains as well. Before we get into anything, much love to my sponsors, EJA Moving Service. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit up my man Eddie Alsheimer and his crew at 315-335-0516, EJAmoving.com. There is nothing that they can't move. They can pretty much move anything you want them to move. They'll move a tractor trailer. They'll move an elephant. They'll move a piano. They'll move your Aunt Gertrude to the nursing home. It doesn't matter. They'll move you pretty much wherever you got to go. EJAmoving.com. Hit them up online. Also, much love to my attorney, Dave Longaretta. Give him a call today if you need legal advice, 315-735-6162. Shout out to Utica Coffee. Shout out to Saranac Brewery. And also, big love to my good friend, Matt Grabsky over at Joey's at 307, who is going to join me tomorrow. Him and Mike Claire from Oliveri's Pizza are going to be in the house tomorrow bringing me some delicious food because you know I like to eat. You know I like to stuff my facha because I like to eat around here. That's what we do. We eat, we get drunk, and we create content. Let me tell you guys something. There is an incredible band that is hitting the airwaves right now, and you need to go over to their social media platforms. They're called the Moon City Masters. And joining me today, I got my new friends on the line with me right now. I got Taylor and Jordan with me from the Moon City Masters. Fellas, how are you?
Doing really great, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. Who was born first? I'm sure you
I
get
was.
that a lot.
Jordan.
You were?
He doesn't forget it. He thinks he's 6 minutes older, and he thinks he knows 6 minutes more stuff than me. Well, I do.
Were you guys coming out of the womb playing music or what? I feel like you were.
No. We were coming out of the room like pro wrestling style or like Bruce Lee style. He was born with a bruise on his head
because he kicked me in the face.
I'm not going to be your fucking
first.
little brother. I'm not going to be your little brother. Fuck that. I'm already doomed to be a bass player.
Was that your shtick at first? You guys wanted to be pro wrestlers? You had been like the Uso brothers?
Oh, dude, I wanted to be Shawn Michaels or like Macho Man Randy Savage when I was a kid.
Dude, I just got a Ric Flair shirt in the mail today.
But being a musician is a lot more realistic. Being in a rock band,
Yeah, and
we like to work out, but we don't really have the guns to
being a musician's less strain on your body as well.
Yeah, except for the singing, I guess.
Well, learning to sing like that was a lot of strain. But.
So I got to line this interview up, or I don't even call it an interview. I call it a conversation. We're going to have a conversation, but I got to line up this conversation through Reverb Nation. We do this thing through Reverb Nation where we've partnered up with them, and bands submitted some music to me, and I get to listen and get to have bands come on this podcast, and submissions are going to April 7th, but I'm supposed to cut it off at April 7th, but you know what? I heard you guys right off the bat. I'm like, I gotta have these dudes on. What I love about you guys is you're waving the flag of the classic down-home rock and roll, and I'm digging that. How about now? Can you hear me?
Fucking internet. Goddamn.
This is why we live in Brooklyn and not Utica. This is.
We're still on dial-up up here.
Hey,
I think our grandma last time we checked, she lives in Texas and she actually has dial-up.
She lives in like far out Texas, Woodville, Texas, like 5 hours from any city, and she's got some bad internet out there.
Can you move your camera a little bit so you both are in the shot? I feel like the other way.
Now.
Yeah,
there you are.
No, the other way. A little more. Just a tad bit more. There you go.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know what the hell happened. I'm just gonna go live. We'll go on the fly.
Yeah, no worries.
We're just gonna go. Hang on, coming down.
Okay.
There it goes.
You got. What's that? Close that. Okay, you're good. Something's out.
Well, we're in no rush. We got as long as you guys
Sorry,
need.
I got it. We're up and rolling. I don't know what the hell happened, fellas, but thank you for being understanding. And I did jinx myself right off the top of this podcast, calling it technical difficulty day. So I set the tone right off the top.
Well, we have no plans too long after this, so we're in no rush. Yeah, we're in no rush.
I love it. Thanks, fellas. So I got the Moon City Masters joining me today on EC Radio. Thank you, everybody, for joining along. If you are on Facebook, help us along and click the share button and help spread the word of EC Radio and Moon City Masters, and of course, Disruption Network. So Moon City Masters, where's the name come from?
Okay, you said we could say Eddie. Can I tell the?
You could tell the story. Tell the backstory.
Okay.
First.
So we had a bunch of bands that were always us with someone else, and we didn't give a shit about the band name. So we'd always let whoever
the drummer or the other player
decide the band name, because every band we were in was us writing the songs. Like, hey, you could choose the band name. We always had bad band names. So our older brother Adam, one time while we were doing, have you ever you engage in the marijuana? You said. Have you ever done a dab?
Of course.
Okay, so we were doing dabs, and our older brother Adam says to us, you guys always have shitty band names. You should just be the Moon City Masters. You're Shred and you're twins. You should have a ridiculous name. And it just kind of grew on us. Eventually we were like, no. But eventually it grew on us, and then no one had it. And I'm a Star Trek nerd. So I was like, yeah, okay, we're the Moon City Masters. And that's where the name comes from.
We just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a good vibe that you guys are putting out there. So some of your influences, are you guys heavily influenced in the Paul Rogers, Jordan? That you?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Paul Rogers is just coming out of you a little bit. That vibe of Bad Company and that whole big classic, early 70s classic rock comes out of you two. It's amazing. So talk about some of your influences.
Love Bad Company. I especially love his singing. I love his music with Free, like the whole Fire and Water
That's
album.
an amazing album.
He's one of our favorite singers, and Paul Kossoff is one of my favorite guitar players. And
dude, Andy Fraser on bass, man.
We love Deep Purple, especially like that Mark III stuff, like Glenn Hughes, David Coverdale era.
Mm-hmm.
Big, it doesn't really show in our music, but we're big Rush fans. Let's see what. We also just love a lot of that soul and funk music from the 60s and 70s, Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament, just a lot of stuff like that. Even some heavier stuff like, we love Sabbath and
Rainbow, Priest, all that good stuff.
Humble Pie, all that kind of stuff.
Is there anything new you guys listening to these days? You
busted
out all the classics. I want to hear some of the new stuff. You turned me on to some new music.
I heard this band. Have you heard Joyous Wolf?
No.
Their singer's fucking great. He's like an Eddie Vedder with like a high tenor range is what he sounds like to me.
I'm writing these down. So what's that?
They're called Joyous Wolf. I liked them. I'm always hearing I'm always looking at what the other rock bands that like are out now are doing. Dirty Honey's really great.
Uh-huh.
People are divided on them because their first album, but I actually think Greta Van Fleet's new stuff is really good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I like Greta.
I'm not gonna say these are huge influence on us, but I'm really like.
They're our contemporaries.
Yeah, all these new rock bands. It's been great on social media hearing all these new rock bands that are coming out. And there's a lot of really awesome stuff coming out now. I like this band called Crownlands from Canada. It's like a drummer and a guitar player, and the guy has an
like a Robert Plant,
and he plays drums,
kind of energy and vibe, but he's a singer and a drummer, and it's pretty cool.
It's like newer stuff. I like we like a band called Wolfpack, like kind of
Love
soul
Wolfpack.
funk.
Yeah, dude, Wolfpack's so good.
That was
I saw them live. We saw
them live.
That was actually the best concert I've ever seen. That was the best concert I've ever seen.
Now, were you at that Madison Square Garden show? That's kind of legendary now that they sold out the Garden independently like they did.
That's
I feel dumb that I didn't go.
you know what? That's incredible. I'm so happy that an independent band got to do that. But unless it's a band I really love to see, I hate arena shows.
Yeah,
they sound terrible. We saw them at a theater in like a year before that called Brooklyn Steel, maybe 2,000 people, and I love going to venues. I like big shows like that, but I like seeing bands in venues that are built for music. You know, because the sound is just so much better. Even in a big place like that, you could be at the very back, and it's still a good spot. It was incredible. I'd rather see a band in a small of a venue they can play as possible.
It's more intimate that way.
Yeah.
More intimate.
It sounds better. You know, like I've seen the Red Hot Chili Peppers in arena shows like 4 times, and they're a great band, but they always sound like shit. you know
like sometimes you just get the snare drum and the vocal, and like, where's the guitar?
That was literally the last time we saw them. It's like I basically just heard the drums and the vocals.
Like I saw Fish at Madison Square Garden like on New Year's a few years ago, and I'm so high up in the nosebleeds. They had a speaker that they were turning up to like so I could hear. I'm like, that's not a show.
Okay, but I saw Maiden at the Barclays Center, Iron Maiden, and I was in the pit for that.
But yeah,
that sounded really good.
But yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of modern rock bands, and there's some modern stuff we're into. We are what we listen to. We are mostly influenced by like that 70s, late 60s rock and like soul music, but I'm sure we're trying to broaden our horizons and hear what's out these days too.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed you guys are getting some recognition too. Was it Classic Rock News featured one of your songs recently?
Classic Rock. They're so awesome. Every time we've put out a new song, they've featured it as like one of their tracks of the week, and they're great, man. I just messaged them on Facebook, and we've kind of developed like a good rapport with them. They're awesome.
Actually, we were in the actual physical copy for one of our songs that came out in the summer. Over Now, they put it in this copy of their magazine, and
how cool is
they've
that?
been. Dude, it's super cool. And what's so great about it, they put us in this article with all these up-and-coming bands, so we got to go check out all these other bands that haven't like quite made it yet too, and getting to hear what they're doing. And I really think in the next 5 years there's going to be a bunch of sick new rock bands.
I think it's actually kind of like, I don't know about financially, but I think creatively it's a great time for rock music. There's so many bands that are like our age, a little younger, a little like older, that are just doing awesome stuff. I'm a big fan.
Super optimistic about the state of rock music.
I love it because not too many are, especially
on
this program.
If you don't care about the Grammys, it's a lot easier to be excited about it. Don't.
Have you guys been writing a lot since this whole Corona coaster's been on? Since it's been going on?
It's keeping us sane, man. It's keeping us sane, dude.
Yeah.
We're writing all the time, and we're trying to
put out new music every 6 to 8 weeks. We just put out a single on Friday, and we're putting out another single in May, and we got 3 songs. We just recorded 3 new songs, and we're just going to put them out every, like I said, every 6 to 8 weeks. And just writing and the social media stuff it's what's keeping us sane right now while we can't play shows. But hopefully we'll be back to playing gigs again in the fall.
Do you feel it's necessary or unnecessary to have full-length albums nowadays, or just kind of put out singles?
I think we're doing singles.
Yes.
So that's for where we are. I think that's the way to go.
If you have a really big fan base and like you're touring, it's good to put out. I love listening to albums.
Yeah,
that's how we listen to music. We'll just, have a couple drinks and just listen to an album start to finish. That's my favorite way. Mm-hmm. It's just financially it doesn't make sense for up and coming bands to do it. And also the algorithm of Spotify and streaming, you're better off putting out a single and stretching it out. We did an EP like a year ago. We put out an EP a year ago, beginning of 2020 or right before 2020. And it was, we put 2 songs out as singles, then we put all 5 out. But if we treated all 5 of them as singles, there's a couple songs on it that I think were the better ones that didn't get the attention they deserve because they were just caught in the shuffle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It lends itself, this era lends itself more to singles.
Yeah, you gotta almost think about like social media, like, you know, milking everything you can out of what you're doing. So I agree. I second everything he said.
Songs are social media posts at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, man. What about a visual aspect? You guys plan on doing some videos?
Oh yeah, we just did that video for Taking It Back, and actually my girlfriend does all our music videos and all our artwork, and she's all we're definitely going to shoot a couple. We're going to try to shoot one for the new song probably in April and put that out by May. Yeah. I love doing music videos, but even those are getting harder to do because you're trying to put out songs so frequently that you have to just do really simple but cool aesthetic concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Have you two always been in a band together, like your whole life? Or has there ever been some separation time?
Like, we've always been in a band together. We've both been hired to be like sidemen and then play with other people, like for a little short periods of time. But like we've always made music together.
Every band that's how we started playing. We saw our first concert, saw Chili Peppers, and he wanted to play the bass. I wanted to play guitar, and it was instantly like, let's start a band. We don't know how to play anything. We can't play at all right now, but let's just learn songs and write songs.
Yeah.
Do you come from excuse me, do you come from a musical background, musical family?
Not really. Like everyone, like
our dad, he didn't do it professionally, but our dad back in his 20s, like in the 70s, he sang in some bands, and our brother and our older brothers like to sing and play. So no one does it. No history of like professional musicians, but everyone does it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right now, prior to the Corona Coaster, were you guys gigging a lot?
Yeah, like all the time, man. We were always somewhere else in the Northeast. You know, we were in DC one weekend, Philly one weekend, in NYC, and it was a lot of fun. We were having a blast doing it. It was such a bummer.
Yeah, it was like also this band, the Moon City Masters. It's so new. We started this in like late 2019. We were just starting to do a ton of gigging. And then we had all these festivals booked for last summer, and then it was like lockdown. But yeah, we were starting to really do a lot of shows as this band, as the Moon City Masters.
Well, it's good for you guys can reset a little bit and get a good game plan going. So when it does come back, you guys can take on the world, right?
Hell yeah.
Dude, we're already working on a bunch of stuff. We actually just had a meeting we're planning on trying to do a tour of Europe in March of 2022, and we want to be away every week playing somewhere.
We want to blaze across this country, man. I want to see every town, every city. I want to play everywhere.
Sounds
We're
like
coming to Utica.
Blaze, period. That's it. You just
well,
want to
that
blaze.
too. That too.
Yes, let's bring you to Utica. I would love to have you guys. I love what you guys are doing. I love your sound. I'm into that whole downright rock and roll. I want you guys, because you do have that classic rock vibe to you, I want you to bring back that sleaze element to rock and roll. That's what's missing from rock and roll, is that sleaze element, you know? I want like some sex appeal, and we want titties and shit, you know what I mean? I want you guys to deliver that.
Mr. Sleaze right
Hell
here.
Yeah. And things need to just not overly sleek, just down home and just play with some feel and some passion.
Yeah.
And just write about, not everything needs to be so dark, it's about having fun.
Exactly. You guys into Steel Panther at all?
Yeah.
We saw Steel Panther. I think we were like 18 or 19.
You ever go to the NAMM show?
I've never been to NAMM, but I'm familiar with it, of course.
Yeah, our first NAMM show, they had a residency at the House of Blues in LA, so we went to go see it. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. They do like the best Van Halen covers.
He sounds just like David Roth.
Yeah, and they did this, Up All Night, the Slaughter song. You know that song?
Yeah.
I'm not a big Slaughter fan. They did a ridiculous cover of that.
They played that at that
They
show.
played that, and I was blown away how good it was. I think it was better than the original version. And they had Jeff Scott Soto come up and sing "Living on a Prayer" with them.
My favorite thing about that show is that, like, the whole time, like, the bass player Alexi Fox just like brings out a mirror and like checks his hair and there's like, what song should we play, man? You guys realize we haven't played a song in 15 minutes? And then he's just like, well, we could play a Rush song. And then they start to play it. And it's like, wait. Our bass player isn't good enough to play Rush. He says it on stage. And like the whole, and like while he's saying it, he's just like looking at his hair, he's like, oh, okay.
Dude, they're amazing, and their songs are hilarious.
Hysterical. That's what it is. It's like
It's
half
really-
comedy, half rock and roll. That's what I love about that band.
It's good music, but it's also it's well done, but it's also hilarious.
Yeah, well,
you know?
like that, like what the guitar player, he was in Rob Halford's band back in the '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
those guys. What makes it's funny because it's so funny, but then they're also just such legit musicians that it's awesome.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah, no doubt. Were you guys gigging around Brooklyn? Were you guys taking part of the? Because I feel like Brooklyn was such a big popular scene just before Corona Coaster. It was really starting to take wave. And were you guys gigging around Brooklyn a lot? Because I know you're down there right
Yeah,
now.
like 4 to 6 weeks we'd play a gig here, but you know we try to like not oversaturate it. Like we play NYC, and then we're up in Connecticut, and then we're
In Boston.
You know, like
Yeah, but we played Rockwood Music Hall a lot. This venue in New York City, and we played Mercury Lounge a decent amount. And so yeah, we definitely were playing very regularly in New York City, in the New York City area. That's what's so good about living in New York in general. So you could be in so many different places.
mhm.
Yeah,
So
centrally located. And then when I always think of New York City too and gigging down there, it's like, you know, it can be very cutthroat and competitive. Is it like that amongst other bands down there on that scene?
I would say I don't pay
Yeah,
attention.
we're not competitive with people.
I feel that vibe from you already.
We want music to thrive, man. It's a tough field, dude.
I'm sure there are people that do definitely have that attitude. We don't pay attention to people. We just don't pay attention. We're so caught up in trying to figure out our own thing that I don't really care what the band next to us if they're being snooty about it. But people
and even to like if we see like another rock band, like for us, like when we saw Greta Van Fleet
make it,
we were like, you know, there was a lot of people that were just like shitting on them, like, aren't you fucking happy that a rock band can be this big?
That means there's hope for us.
Like the whole idea about rock being dead is they're so commercially viable playing real rock and roll. That means there's a real hope for a lot of great up and coming bands.
Like the music or not, but it's not too competitive. There's a ton of incredible musicians here. You could walk into a little club, and then the guitar player for like a giant band is there doing his like own solo music, and I don't know. Yeah, not really. People are pretty supportive here. Like maybe the jazz scene's a little bit more like that. I know that scene's a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
Right on. Good answer, though. That was a great answer. Just, you know, stay in your lane and focus on what you're doing, and who cares about everybody else, right?
Don't be afraid of being the best. Just focus on being the best you can be and finding your thing.
Yeah. And it's also
being the best at losing battle.
It's also important to stay supportive of other musicians, and I feel like you guys are definitely supportive, and you're out there, you know, checking out other musicians and other bands when you're not gigging.
Yeah, you know, being in a band, it's not like having an ice cream shop next to another ice cream shop. There's plenty of room for more music.
Yeah, you can both be successful. You know? In fact, it's probably good if there's other rock bands that get a little bit of notoriety, because then it creates a scene, man. We want to create a scene.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's about, creating a scene. You know, we hooked this thing up through Reverb Nation. I've got this little partnership going on with Reverb Nation. Talk about how important platforms like Reverb Nation are for your band.
Dude, it's been amazing for us. We've doing this. Look, getting exposure that we probably couldn't get with it makes you not have to spend thousands of dollars to hire a publicist to find opportunities like. Mm-hmm. So many people don't even know how to get on things. It makes it so much easier. And like we've been on radio things, we've gotten festivals through Reverb Nation, like festival gigs.
Didn't we like get Music Fest through Reverb?
No, that was through another platform. But similar things. These are incredible because it really puts the power in the artist's hands. Just like social Instagram and YouTube and all that, it makes it so much easier to be an independent band.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I go on Reverb Nation and apply to a million things like every day, any opportunity I can. So then when I see that we get accepted, because people, you know, you got to apply to a lot of things because
you mostly get rejected.
But so when someone accepts you, you're like, yes, oh my god.
you gotta apply, and on all platforms, not just Reverb Nation. You have to email everybody. You have to apply for as many things as you can, because if you send 40 emails, you might hear back from 5.
But yeah, I'm super grateful for Reverb Nation. I love it.
Nice. I know some bands, each member has a different job in the band. Do you guys split up the jobs? Is like one person in charge of social media, one charge in booking, or do you guys kind of just split it down the middle?
We kind of handle different aspects. Like he's kind of the one that lives on Reverb Nation.
I do most of that. I do most of that kind of stuff. I would say he does a lot of like the email writing, and then we'll both divide.
We have like a giant list of like journalists, like press outlets that have written about this band, and we just kind of divide it down the middle, and we blast them to everybody. Typically, if like we release a song, he sends it to like people that have recently written about us, and I just like do the brunt work, and like I direct message like individuals like all day for hours until like my eyes hurt. Until Facebook blocks me.
Honestly, one of the positive things about COVID is because we're both music instructors for a living. We do it on Zoom. The positive thing is we have time to be our own publicists now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't give anybody 20%.
No.
No, it is, man. It's good for this reset. As far as even writing music too, I'm sure you guys have just been cramming in the writing a lot. That's a cool. What's that backdrop? What's the backdrop behind you right there? Is that your? Is that what you bring with it?
Oh yeah, I just have that, and this is like my office and storage room in my apartment. My girlfriend made it, and she just put that on our wall. We just have it for social media videos or live streams,
great,
yeah, I love it, man. It's just cool to have a little studio that we get to write in and jam out in.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys been doing live streams? Have you been going live on like social media and your platforms, playing music?
Yeah, not a lot recently because we've just been so busy with a lot of stuff. But when we typically
on TikTok,
on TikTok, we have a pretty good following on there. So we do the majority of it on there, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we do it every couple of weeks. We'll just like pop in and surprise. We don't even announce it, and we'll get like 500. We'll get like 500 people watch us on TikTok doing it. It's a lot. It's cool. It's great to engage with people, but nothing's like playing on stage. I'd rather play in front of 20 people in a club than 500 people on a screen. As great as that is,
we're grateful for it, but you know, second that.
Hopefully soon you guys can get back to the stage, though, man. You hearing any word down there, like when you could possibly get out there gigging again?
I think they actually in April are going to start opening clubs in New York at 30% capacity, but we're going to wait till we're vaccinated. And also we haven't rehearsed with a drummer in over a year. So we got to start rehearsing with a band again. So I think we're aiming for like late summer, early fall to start playing shows again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the meantime, just keep putting out singles.
Yeah, put out singles, and honestly, we've gotten more fans and more engagement during this pandemic. So we're kind of hoping that when we're back on stage, we'll have better live opportunities.
Yeah, right on, man. Cool. We got to get you up here in upstate, man. I think everybody in upstate New York, especially in my little area here in central New York, will totally love you guys and would dig the vibe that you guys are throwing. Just having this conversation, man. I know they would love your vibe that you guys are putting it out. So this has been a lot of fun, guys.
You know, some good bars, some good clubs to come play. Send us like some. We'll gladly come up there and play.
I know a couple, 2, 3. I know a couple, 2, 3. Hey, if people are interested in hearing your music, how can they find you online and give your social medias and your website and all that?
Well, you can go to mooncitymasters.com. It has links to all our social media, all the platforms our music's like Spotify and Apple Music. But, you know, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. We're everywhere. You look up Moon City Masters, you're going to find us.
I'm telling you, people, if you like that down-home rock and roll, early 70s, mid-70s vibe, I'm talking the 1975 Marshall amps and, like, you know, SGs, Gibson SGs. These guys have the sound, man. They've got a lot of great stuff coming out of them. If you like that classic rock vibe, definitely check out Moon City Masters. This has been great, guys. Please keep in touch, and when you guys got some new music, please use my platform. I'd love to help you guys out, and that's what we're here for, is to help spread music, man.
Z, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. This has been a blast.
Yeah, this has been great. We got to get together one of these days. Definitely come up here. I want to come see you guys live one of these days when this Corona coaster is over with.
Hell yeah, and when things are back to normal, if you ever find yourself down here, let us know. We'll buy you a beer.
I like
yeah.
beer. I like beer for sure.
I like it too.
The order of the day, people, go online and check out the Moon City Masters. You won't be disappointed. Great band. I love it. I love the vibe that you're putting out. Thanks again, fellas.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I want to thank EJA Moving Services, attorney Dave Longaretta, Utica Coffee, Saranac Brewery, and Joey's at 307. Also, don't forget, this Saturday, there is a benefit for the Uptown Theater. It's going on online. It's the 26th. It's the Shutdown Showcase. So if you want to support the Uptown Theater, go to the uptownutica.org for more information. Moon City Masters, you guys rock. Thank you so much for taking the time. I will see you guys tomorrow. Later.